Hey friends, it's Abigail Luvisi. Welcome back to Judgment Free Zone. We need vulnerability and empathy now more than ever. I hope you are able to find room for more curiosity, self-compassion, and empathy for yourself and others while you're here. I show up so you can too. Welcome back, vulnerable, inspiring, courageous, curious, game-changing community. So this is my first recording without having my best friend or husband on. Go me. Her name is Katie, and I'm gonna let her introduce herself here in a moment. But for now, Katie, if you want to just say hi.
Hi. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
I can see you, but some of my followers aren't going to see you, right? If they're just watching on or listening on Spotify. So I want them to hear your voice.
Hello.
So you're an Office fan, right? Yeah, same. So I feel like this whole thing has been reminding me, like this journey for me starting the podcast reminds me of like the first season of The Office, like how cringeworthy it was. And like it wasn't like you appreciated The Office until like season 2 when you like
Yes.
you knew the characters.
Like this is really awkward, but I like it.
You know what I mean? But
I
that's how
like
I
it.
feel. That's how I feel about my like journey right now is like it's cringy and weird and I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm being vulnerable and that's what you do when you don't know what you're doing and it's new, right?
It's true, and that's what we need. That's what
Yeah.
we need.
Yes, and that's what I want to create. And so I'm so excited to have you here. But Katie is awesome. So I wanted to bring her on. I met her through her mom. I was doing her lashes, and I guess Trisha
Yes.
too. We could give a shout out to
Yes.
Trisha.
Yes. Hi,
So
Trisha.
yes, not only is she a huge Disney fan like myself, so naturally we relate on that
Yes.
level. You were in the LDS faith and have recently left. I also
Yes.
have left the LDS faith at one time or another. We're both moms,
Yep.
advocates for mental health and body
Yep.
image.
Yes.
And so I just think you're amazing. I think you're funny
Oh, thank you.
and witty, and I always have wanted to just be in your presence. You exude joy and happiness, and you're just real and raw. And I think, that again, that's what we need. And so I wanted to hear from you. So,
Thank you. I
yeah,
feel like all squishy inside now.
right?
Yeah.
Like raw and open.
You. Yeah, I relate to all of those things just like you do. So it's been a crazy couple years.
Yes. So I want my community to get to know you and I want to hear more about you. So I do or am starting this thing where I want people, my question is going to be like, what is the gift of you? So I want you to answer that for us. And then you can go in from there and kind of share us your background and, lead us to what we're going to be talking about today.
All right. Well, the gift of me. Um, I think I have always been very open, very vulnerable, very um, aware of others. I'm an empath. So, like, I feel others. I've always been connected to people, and I'm silly and I'm funny. And I just, for some reason, like, I'm just really super comfy in my skin right now. I think it's because I'm in my 40s. I left the Mormon church. I'm kind of like navigating a new life, and I'm just kind of leaving behind all the things that bothered me and kind of bringing forward new stuff that I'm still not even sure, what I'm doing, but at the same time, it's good. It's really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. So what has been this journey like for you? What is coming into your 40s for you?
Oh gosh. Well, so I'll just kind of go back. I have two daughters, 16 and she's almost 12. That's crazy. But both of my daughters are kind of famous. I have my younger daughter Chloe, who's a famous meme, and that happened when she was 2 years old. So we were kind of just like flung into fame. And so that has kind of been our life for the last literally 10 years. And through all of that, behind the scenes, being a mom and dealing with, teenagers and, internet and all of these things is kind of like really prepared me for kind of what I'm in right now with leaving the church and like kind of taking my authority back, because I feel like for so long I was giving everything, everything that I had to my kids, their careers, my family and my church and everything. And I just realized kind of at the end of the day that I forgot about myself. And 2020 was super hard. My oldest attempted suicide in 2020 during the pandemic, and that was just so hard. And it kind of just forced me to kind of put my life in perspective, kind of, and kind of really weed out what really makes me happy, what is bringing me down. And a lot of things were bringing me down. So,
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing and being vulnerable around
yeah,
that. Like those are really big things in someone's life to go through. And
yeah, it's hard.
yeah, I mean, I know, from my own perspective of just the church aspect too, like I feel like I was told a lot, or at least my perception was to give, give, give. And I think that goes with, I never was learned any boundaries. And
Yes,
that when
I
I'm able to,
agree.
yeah, when I'm able to learn that I can say no, I'm actually more willing to give at a place of not creating resentment. I don't
Yeah.
know if that.
Oh no, that totally, you know, I was born into the church. I have not talked about this openly. So this is kind of my first, and it's hard to talk about because I have so many amazing LDS friends who I love and respect, and I respect them and their wishes and their beliefs. But at this point, I feel like I just need to break away and talk about how I'm feeling and how, it is hard to leave Mormonism after 42 years. That is a community, that is a life, that is a belief system, that is your job, your life, your work, your money, everything. And you know throughout my life I always had doubts, but like I just never expanded my mind on it. And after what happened with Lily and kind of my experience within the church the last 2 years, I won't go into detail, but it was really bad. It was
Mm,
really bad. And at the end of the day, I'm like, why am I doing this? I'm not even happy. I have not been happy. I've not felt worthy as a woman. I've not felt worthy as a mom. I've not felt um, present in my own life. You know, I have no authority over my body, over what I wore, over what it's hard to explain, but it's just like I couldn't take it anymore. And speaking of my mom, I kind of had a falling out with her kind of the same month that I left the church, and it was hard, but at the same time, like, I felt this overwhelming authority over my life. Like, I was in charge, and I never felt like that for the last 42 years. I was always climbing these stairs of worthiness, realizing that I was never gonna reach that top. And, um, when I left the church, for some reason, that was the biggest thing that I felt in that moment of just wow, freedom slash authorities, and then the ability to see perspective of people in the church and love and respect, and then my perspective, like, I'm not wrong. Just because I don't believe the way you believe doesn't make me wrong, doesn't make me on my way to hell, doesn't make me in the midst of darkness, doesn't make me any of those things that sometimes the church likes to put us in. And and I will say this, this is my experience in the church. This is how I feel, and I know that that's not everyone's experience, but that's how I felt. And I've been out for 5 months now, and I can honestly tell you it has been the most amazing, joyful months of my life. My life hasn't gotten easier or harder. I still have bills and I still have all of these things, but like I'm able to just grab authority. Does that make any sense? Like,
Yeah, I mean, again, I can relate in different ways, and I was
yeah,
raised in multiple different religions. So I have like my mom was Pentecostal Christian, so I don't know if you that's like very
yeah,
charismatic, like the touching and healing. And I went to a Calvinist church with my brother growing up, and then I was married in a Lutheran church. And my ex at the time was LDS and went into the LDS church, so I was LDS for about 3 years. And yeah, I think I can relate on a lot of ways. It's leaving the LDS church for me as well was probably one of the hardest things that I did. And I can't imagine being raised in the LDS church and leaving, because you're right. It really is,
mhm.
you live, breathe, eat, sleep the church.
Yeah, yeah, it's an all-encompassing thing, and when you're miserable in an all-encompassing thing, and it's just like this constant moving thing, you don't see a way out. There is no way out because that's your life.
Yeah.
That's no option. And I remember throughout my life multiple times thinking like, I don't know if I believe this. Like, I'm miserable. I, every single day of my life, trying to
Mm,
find joy was harder than living in complete misery.
right.
And I thought that I was supposed to live in misery because we're told that life is full of trials and life is hard, but we keep working and working to this level. And I just could never get there mentally. I always felt like a worthless mother, a worthless wife. I always felt like I wasn't doing enough. I wasn't leading enough. I wasn't going to church. It was all of these limitations that the church was putting on me.
Mm,
And but you don't realize it while you're in it until you're out. So the last 5 months have been an insane emotional roller coaster. I had this euphoria leaving, and then you have this sadness of losing an entire community and the people, and you know, and then you're angry because of all of these things you're learning and reading, and then so it's just kind of like losing somebody. When Lily attempted suicide, even though, and thank God she is here with us, um, you still go through like a grieving process. It's like my child wanted to leave me. She wanted to leave this world. And so there's a grieving process. It's almost like the same thing where it's just like you have to go through all of these emotions. And to know that leaving Mormonism is like going against the grain, like I'm stepping out of a flowing river and getting out and watching everyone go by me. But the best part is I'm not scared. I'm not. I'm not. I know that I'm doing the right thing. And so that's the hardest thing, is actually taking that step. And also with what happened with Lily, it's like taking that step with Lily to talk to her and be open with her and have conversations that I never would have had these monumentous things happen with me. So
how is your, if you don't mind me asking, how is your family? Like, are they on the same page with you, or there differences?
I had like immense fears that I was going to lose a lot of friends, that my family was going to feel a certain way. Um, and I'm so grateful that my family's been incredible. I mean, my dad, I love him. They're supportive. My sister Kendra has been absolutely incredible. My friends are amazing. And nothing really has changed. That's the thing. Like, I have felt doubt in all of this time. I just haven't been open about it. And now I'm open about it. And so, yes, there's change because now I feel like I'm free to live my life and make decisions and on basic things like, what do I want to wear today? Do I want to get a tattoo? And I'm getting one on Friday, just crazy things. And
I know.
things that,
I'm so funny, but I like made little notes, like just in case, and I put three little butterflies and your
oh,
star on your paper for my notes for
yes.
you.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm getting 3 little tattoos to represent me and the girls.
But that was
And
actually the family I was talking about. Was how are like Lily and Chloe and your husband doing like with all of this?
oh, yes. Oh, like
Yes, like
my people.
your people, your
Yeah.
intimate family. How are they doing?
Oh, so good. Uh, Lily told me, shortly after her suicide attempt, she's like, "Mom, I'm done at 18. I don't wanna be a part of this religion." And, I knew I was having very, very strong thoughts about taking her through the temple one day, and it just felt so wrong to me. But I was in the mindset of just faking it till I make it. I mean, I don't want to get deep into the temple at all, but I never felt comfortable there. And now I'm raising girls and I'm like, I can't do this. So I talked to her and she's like, I just remember when I'm like, Lily, it's okay. Like, you don't need to get married in the temple. You don't have to stay a member of this church. She started sobbing. And then she's like, wow, like I can marry who I want. I don't have to. It was a very personal conversation and it was beautiful. And, Chloe, she's younger, so I don't think she fully comprehends, but she's on board. Obviously, I think when you're younger, at least for me, I didn't enjoy going to church when I was 11, 10, 8. So, uh, but it is a loss, but it's also like a new life. Now, and with my husband, bless him, oh my gosh, I feel like I could talk about him forever. But
Which I love your guys' love, by the way, just to
it's him and I, we've been married 20 years and we've been through so much together. I mean, I've had multiple divorces in my family. I won't say how many times my parents have been married, but it's a lot. It's a lot. And I've had a lot of dads, a lot of moms. And when I met David, I truly did not believe that marriage was a long term thing. And so 20 years in, and then on top of that, in December, I tell my husband I'm leaving the Mormon church, and he's like, awesome. I love you. I support you in whatever you want, which just blew me away. Um, and surprisingly, a few months later, my husband decided to leave the church as well. And it's just, eh, I don't have words. We just, and whatever is going to happen, I know there's a lot of like negative connotation with leaving the church. If you leave, you can't be happy. If you leave, you're going to die. You have all these fears. If I wear things that are different, and that's it's just not how it is because Katie, this is my body. This is my soul. I have authority over this skin, over this face, over these words. And to be able to pull that back, or even, I don't even know if I'm getting it back. I feel like I have it, that it's new and it's so that's how it is in our family. We talk about so much stuff like sex and drugs and things, and you got to get in there and talk about real life things because a lot of times with leaving the church, you're like, what am I going to do with my kids? Oh no. And I'm just like, I was a really good person while I was in the church, and I think I'm still a good person now. I was a good mom while I was in the church. I'm a really good person now. Nothing nothing can prevent me from achieving worthiness now. And I felt very, very stuck. So that's kind of like the major difference that I'm feeling, just I'm in charge. You're in charge. Lily, she's 16. She's still in charge of her 30 and her worthiness and, taking power back over her body and her soul and who she is as a woman.
yeah,
So,
I feel like the word that comes to my mind is like that empowerment
yes, it's so empowering.
and
It's
freeing.
really crazy. Yeah, and to be told that you can't feel that, it's like an invisible barrier. I was just on this side of the wall in Mormonism, and I'm like, this is such a massive leap. And if I do this, all of these terrible things are going to happen to me. And all of the, there's that fear that I think the church is really good at giving me. I will only speak for myself. And to take that leap and go, wow, like I'm okay. I might get cancer tomorrow. I might die in a car accident. It's not because I left the Mormon church, it's because people make really bad choices and things happen. And to kind of separate myself into a whole new thought process of like real accountability, real agency, real choices being made. And instead of, putting it all onto God and all onto, I know I'm really getting into some weird thoughts, but it's,
No, I love it.
do you understand what I'm saying? It's just like, I make decisions and there are consequences. And that's what we're telling our girls. Like, if you do this, this is going to happen, And instead of, if you do this, you're going to hell. If you do this, God is angry. If you do this, I don't want a conditional God anymore. I don't want, so yeah, that's, these are all things that I think about for the last 5 months, and not really being able to talk about it, but feels good to talk about it because this is me, it's Katie, and this is how I felt for a really long time. So the
Yeah, no,
family is
I can
amazing.
relate. I can relate to everything you're saying. So
Yeah,
I appreciate you talking about it and being open, and that this is, hearing you say that this is the first time you've really talked about it. Like, I mean, I'm thankful because we there are more of us out there, and whether it's in the LDS church or not, who are going through things that are similar. And
yeah,
I think that's the point of us being vulnerable, is it doesn't matter if you're Mormon or Christian or Jehovah Witness, like these feelings
yeah,
that we have around situations, it just helps us stay curious. And
yeah.
I think
And
go for it.
oh, sorry, I was
No,
just
go
gonna
go.
say, people, millions of people that find amazing peace within the Mormon church, and I respect that and I believe it, and I validate that. So it just breaks my heart that I could never find the peace there. So that was really hard for me while I was in it. So now that I'm out and finding peace religionless right now, basically, like that's where the perspective comes in. I appreciate and respect your peace and your love and your membership to the LDS church. I was a member for 42 years. I don't hold any ill will towards people that are still practicing Mormons. I love and respect them. The hardest part is getting that same respect and love back, to trust me as a person, that I know what I'm doing and I'm happy and I'm not being led astray and I'm not on Satan's path. Um, that it's just, it is what it is, and it's the same type of peace, but it's different, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You've experienced the same thing, but it's different. Even though you and I have been in the same experience, it's different. But we're joined in the fact that we've both felt unworthy, unloved. I don't know about you, but like body, I mean, I'm overweight right now, but you know what? I don't even care, girl. I'm just happy. I'm happy. The joy is just exuding from me. So I'm in my bathing suit. I'm just living. I'm just doing what I feel in my soul. So I was in a bathing suit this last weekend and I took pictures of myself and I posted them and I'm just like, I don't care.
I
I
love
look
it.
good. Like
Yes.
I'm just happy.
You
So
do. You hot girl. I
you
feel
know
like
what? I
all
try.
I hear are those reels in my head. It's like that fajita one going around right now. Like, you are a hot, flaming, steamy. Have you heard that?
No,
Fajita
but
in a Chili's on a
oh
Friday
my
night.
gosh. It sounds like they're describing me. I
Yeah.
mean, pretty much. No.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna have to
And
send you
that's
that
the
reel
other
after
thing.
this now.
Don't feel bad for tooting your own horn. Get out, if your horn is this big, if it's this big, that you got to get out there and just toot it,
Mm-hmm.
because women need to see. each other celebrating themselves and their bodies in all different shapes, all different sizes, all different types of moods. Instagram is like the biggest lie ever because it's not always happy and sunshine and rainbows. And we cry and we eat tons of ice cream at night. And, it's good and bad days. That's why for me, like, I've always been open about every struggle I've ever had because it allows me to heal. And so, yeah. And
Well,
that's why I
no,
love that you invited and you're doing this. This is what we women need. We
yeah,
need each other.
we do. And we do need to see all of those things that you're talking about. And that's another reason I've just completely appreciated what you do on Instagram. And it inspires me too, with me being vulnerable on Instagram for my community, because it's true. And it's those darkest moments that we need to hear, that we don't want to get on and show up on, that others
Yeah.
need it.
Yeah.
And so I try to check myself, obviously, to make sure that, I'm in the right place to show up in that way when I need to. But I definitely do and have been pushing myself harder, because we need this community now more than ever.
It's true.
Yeah,
I said something that I want to take back.
go for it.
I'm not overweight. I'm just me.
You are. Get it,
I
girl.
don't like that word.
Love that you just did that. Like, praises to you.
I don't want to. I'm just me.
Yes, you are. And you're amazing and beautiful and full of life. Oh, I love
I
it.
just love you.
I love
I
you.
love how we've only met 2 times and we're just like, we just hit it off.
We do.
Yeah, and you get amazing lashes and I'm allergic to them. And
Oh my gosh. So you guys, just like a side story. So I
Yes.
did Katie's lashes, and so sad that she was allergic to them and literally blew up like a
Yes.
balloon.
But then it was awesome because I was having the worst day when my eyelashes were flared to come. And remember, I just cried to you. I'm like, oh, I'm having the worst day. So you know what? Maybe I needed to be able to get all of that emotion out, plus my eyelashes.
Right.
I had them on for like a day.
Really good for that
They
day,
did.
though.
They
So
did. They did.
really did. So totally not to switch topics though on all of that, but I mean, if you do want to share some stuff about like going through the bullying and everything, like if we want to do that today, or we could even have you come back on a podcast to talk about that.
Whatever you like. What do you want to do?
Yeah, I mean, I love what we've done so far. Maybe I stop this one and we can keep recording for a second podcast.
All right.
You like
Let's
that?
do it.
All right. Yep. So Katie out for this one.
I'm out.
All right. I'm gonna shut it off. Bye guys. See you next week. Thanks, friends, for listening in. If you found this helpful, please subscribe, share, and leave a review. If you'd like to be more involved in our community, hop over to Instagram and find me at Abigail Luvisi. Keep showing up. I will too. See you next time.